All right. Coleman, you want to join us on the stage up here? There we go.
Here I am.
Hello, everybody.
We are recording, so this will be the second AMA of Warsaken. And I'm super excited. We have a ton of questions that came in, both kind of picking up some of the ones from the last AMA, as well as a handful of questions that came in afterwards. I think what I want to do is kind of start by saying, first off, welcome everybody. We're super excited to have a conversation with you and kind of answer some of the questions that are burning on the top of mind for how you're wondering, the game's going to work out long term and kind of where we came from and some of those things that have been asked. But I think we should start like straight with one of the hardball questions. There was actually quite a few that came through, but I think the most maybe pressing one was, do we prefer pineapple on pizza or not?
So I'll take that one first. I wasn't a fan for most of my life, but once I had it with pepperoni, I was convinced, and I will always have pineapple on pizza. Pineapple and pepperoni is a win. So
yeah,
glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, I know that was a tough one. I think there's going to be quite a few harder ones on here. It's funny to see some of the questions, from all the different people kind of lumped together. Like the way that I saw some of the questions come in, I think I had about 7 or 8 questions that I would sort of categorize together as what inspired Warsaken, why did we decide to make it, how did we all meet each other, what about the Kickstarter project? There's a bunch of stuff about, how did we all bring this together? What triggered this whole thing to unfold? So I thought I would kind of like tell the story really quickly about some of the early pieces of Warsaken and how it became Warsaken, and then we can go on to maybe some of the how we all got to know each other. So, and I've told this story before, so some of you have probably heard it, so I apologize to those that are having to listen to it again. But when I was a kid, I was really into first-person shooters, as a lot of kids are, and I played one that was called Counter-Strike. My father was in the military back in the day, not when I was a kid, but back when he was younger. And I wanted to find ways to interact with him more. And so I was trying to get him to play some of these first-person shooters. And Counter-Strike was a very military-themed first-person shooter. I thought he would love to play that with me. But the mechanics of the game and some of the difficulty of just playing computer games in general was just something beyond where he was at. And so I knew that he loved tabletop games. I loved tabletop games. And I was thinking to myself, I bet I could get my dad to play with me if I built this like military game of some kind. And that was about as much of a thought as I had about it. I couldn't really, I didn't know how to make a game at that time because I was pretty young, but I tried. I actually opened up a design program because I was still young, but I had already been designing for a bit. And I tried to come up with a game. I put like a sniper that I had found from like a picture on the internet on this shaped, rectangle that kind of represented a card, and I put like a number 3 in the corner and said, I'm gonna make this like do something. I don't know what 3 means, but it's gonna be powerful. And as I progressed with that a little bit, I kind of realized I had no idea what I was doing, and so I just let it go all the way. And I never brought it back up or picked it up again. I had a really good relationship with my dad in general anyway, but he passed away a few years back. And then a few years ago, I was sitting with my son playing a different tabletop game, and I was recounting this time I tried to create a game about, the military with him. And as we started talking about it, we like stopped the tabletop game we were playing, and it like gripped us. We were immediately excited about this idea, and we just kind of kept riffing back and forth about like what this game would be like and how people would play it and what kind of characters would be in it. And it was so enthralling to me I decided that I wanted to actively turn this into a reality. And so I pushed really hard to start coming up with some of the details of the game. And that is inevitably what led to sort of like that's the inspiration, what led to what is Warsaken. Along those lines, you know, I started working on the Kickstarter project, which launched a few years back now, and didn't fund for various reasons, and I'll go into that maybe if we have time. But one of the things that I really wanted with this game was to make sure that it played well, and so I brought in Matt to be a part of some of the creation of this. He thinks about things very differently than I do. We have a really good relationship. We've been friends for a really long time, and as we progressed in the game design, he pushed back on things and tried to think about things from a better experience perspective along with me. And as we did that, the game got better and better. And then as I wanted to get this project launched onto Kickstarter, I asked Daniel Coleman, which I have known for years and years as well, though Matt and Coleman just didn't know each other at the time. I was like, hey, I know you're an amazing author. I'd love to start developing some lore around this game. Coleman, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that kind of experience?
Yeah, I was busy between writing books and I also edit manuscripts for other authors.
Sorry about that. I don't know exactly what happened to my connection, but it just disintegrated. So I went to my backup connection, and so I'm here.
To add on to what Matt was saying, I agree 100%. It's really blown us away how community has grown and how supportive everyone is of each other, how quickly we've all become friends. And it's really neat to see that tonight this AMA is a lot of different names. The last one we did around 12 noon, this one we're doing at 12 midnight. And we really want to make sure we reach out to people all over the world, and it reflects with just the names and faces that we're seeing in this AMA tonight.
So I don't know if we finished off the questions sort of about how we came together, but
yeah, we did.
Okay. All right. Good. Sorry about that. And I'm confident that part will probably be missing from the recording because I was doing the recording, so it's tough.
That's good. It was just me speaking, so it's fine.
Someone asked, kind of like along the same lines of the Legion. Did we expect that at some point Warsaken would build to such a great Legion that we'd have this many members? And I think we kind of thought that the game was going to be good, that people would want to play it and that it would be an exciting community. But I didn't think it was going to go, definitely not as quickly as it did, but maybe even as big as it has already gotten. But I don't think we couldn't keep growing. I think we've got a lot more opportunity to bring a lot of people in. When I think about some of the big games out there, like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering, that are both digital or physical, or and they're card type games, and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. There's this group of products out there on the market that people really, really love, and they have huge audiences. And I believe that we could be right there with them. So I think that there's, we've got a lot of staying power, and I think our plans, and this kind of dovetails into one of the other questions that somebody asked, what are our plans for the next 3 to 5 years? What's our long-term goal? So, we plan on obviously launching the game, both the Blitz version a couple of months after we get the pack sales out, and then launching the full digital version. And we also plan on launching the Kickstarter physical tabletop game with NFT claim codes inside that people will be able to get. But there's a lot more we've got in store around like set 2, set 3. We're building things that we have scoped out in set 3 into set 2 so that the story makes sense to escalate to what we want to bring to the table in set 3. And there's that kind of also lays the groundwork and makes it really clear we are going to be making a lot of cards, a lot of different cards, a lot of different capabilities, and we will be making those as quickly as we can and playtesting them thoroughly so that we bring product to the market that's ready. We're trying desperately to make sure that the game quality stays and that we're very happy with the cards that we bring to the market.
to add on just a little bit to that. As we develop the sales, like the game has been developed a lot longer than a lot of our sales plans, especially when it comes to NFT and crypto. One thing we always said is we want there to be plenty of cards for people to play, and so we're releasing quite a bit, but the response has been huge. And so if we end up with more demand than what we have cards, we have limits on the mints that we have, but we're going to be in a hurry to get more cards out there and get set 2 out there so people can get more and make plans, because that's what the main thing we want is for people to be able to play, and that's why we have the subscription model and the free to play model to open it up so that the game can be played.
Yeah, that's dead on. And I think you'll see as we develop, into the next sets, the different, really the different interactions that we'll have between the different, the different audience groups. So we've got people that are going to be in the NFT space, and we've got people that are probably just going to be really interested in the game, and they may not be interested in the NFTs, but we want to help them learn about the crypto space. So we're going to bring this audience that doesn't even know about crypto potentially in. And people who are on tabletop, a lot of you, I think, have spoken out and want, a copy of the physical box. And I think that's amazing. There's going to be people who buy the physical box because they like the game, but they don't understand what these claim codes are and how that works. So some of them will come check it out. So we're excited to kind of like meld all these different audiences together and really make a more unified, larger community of players and collectors. Okay, well, let's talk about a couple of things. There's some other questions that had come up a lot today specifically, and then also somebody had asked this in the question forum, was really about like upgrading cards. There's there's a lot to understand there and how cards are upgraded. So I wanted to touch on that just a little bit. The process for handing out these promo cards and stuff that we've established, we are confident we're going to hand out a good amount of these promo cards, and promo cards are kind of equal to the standard cards, the cards that come in the booster packs, the ones with the black borders, and either of those 2 cards can be upgraded. When they're upgraded, they become what we call a metal card. They're full art, and they have a little medal that hangs over the top corner of them. So if you wanted to, when we release the upgrade ability, go and create the first mint of that card, if the first person to take 5 copies of a promo or 5 copies of a standard card when we get there for the pack launch, and you upgrade them together, you'll get the first mint, potentially of that metaled card that's full art. And then everybody who makes one after that would also get one. So the whole point though is that there's 2 levels of upgrading. So we go from standard bordered cards and promo cards into the full art metal cards. But when you want, you can upgrade those cards to the Fireforged cards. And so you take 5 copies of those and you put them together, you're going to get a Fireforged card. And so that will be a different template. And those are animated. They look really cool, and they come with 10 extra health. The thing that we're going to be introducing at the same time as upgrading are the first wave cards. So the first wave cards are a purchasable card. It's a single NFT card. But when you mix that with your upgrades, you're going to be going from, instead of getting a metal card, you'll get a metal first wave card when you're upgrading from standard or promos. And if you upgrade from something that is already metaled or is already full art, and you're going to Fireforged, if you mix in a first wave card, you're going to get a Fireforged first wave edition. And that gives you all of the first wave cards give you a major XP bonus for holding them in your collection. So there's going to be a substantial incentive to use those cards to try and make sure that you're getting higher in the ranks towards your daily loot payouts. So that's really the purpose of those cards. But also, there's been questions I've heard people say, well, you're releasing a lot of cards. Like, is this, we want people to be able to play, but also we want people to be able to upgrade. And so as they do so, they're going to end up being, there's going to be scarcer quantities, I think, of the promo cards and even the standard cards and the full art cards as people burn those into Fireforged cards to try and achieve those extra bonuses, both in XP and in health. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Coleman or Matt?
I don't think so. We have it broken down on our website, warsaken.com/digital
Yeah.
at the very bottom.
Yeah.
But we'll be getting more information on that out and answering specific questions that people have.
Yeah, I think one of the advantages we should share is, let's say you have a fairly rare card, and you maybe only have 2 of those. You can actually add up to 3 of the first wave cards to take the place of the other 3 of that card.
Yeah.
So maybe you have 2 Goliaths that are full art, but you don't have any more than that. You can purchase 3 of the first wave cards, and that will allow you to burn those Goliaths into, the Fire Forged.
Yeah, and just to clarify,
first wave.
Just to clarify, so that statement, rare cards, meaning I think what you meant by that was actually the different ranks, right? Like, so like a rank,
like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, like a rank
5.
4 leader card is going to get you more XP than a rank 1, soldier force card. But Fireforged editions will be amplifying that or multiplying that in terms of its XP generation. So if you, and by the other factor might be that getting a couple of Lockwoods that are full art so you can burn them into Fireforge might actually be expensive based on the secondary market if you didn't pull one out of a pack. And so it might make sense for you to just hunt down one of these first wave cards because it may be cheaper to take the place of that. But you do have to have at least 2 copies whenever you're upgrading from one level to the next. You'll have to have at least 2 copies of the actual card you're upgrading from. Okay, let's see. One other interesting question came up kind of about the game modes. There was a question about, the draft concept, like playing draft. I'm not sure if people are really familiar with draft in tabletop games, but draft is a mechanism by which you play the game with packs. So you start with a pack and you open the pack at the time of the gameplay. And so you actually don't know what you're going to get. This mechanic doesn't exactly exist in a lot of places across digital games, but it's definitely very common in physical games where you could open a pack of cards and then you sort of like make your deck really quickly out of those. We have the intent to support that in the tabletop game, and we will support it in some capacity in the digital game. I think the only thing we're trying to do is be mindful of the fact that we don't want people to have to buy a pack just to play a game. So one of the things we've considered is the idea of making those packs like based on your collection dynamically. So you can basically take cards you already own and then they like get randomly sorted into a draft pack that you just use to play with. It's also possible that we could potentially enable people to play with packs. We would just want to make sure that everybody who enters that game arena understands how those would work, so that they're not opening the packs unintentionally or anything. Let's see, what else did we get? Some interesting stuff came in about moderators. There's been a lot of questions. I think we've been spending a lot of time in Discord. We want to spend a lot of time in Discord, but it's definitely we're trying to make sure we're balancing our time with actually implementing the game and all of the stuff we want for launch. So we have been recruiting moderators. We've been talking to certain folks that we think are maybe better attuned to like dealing with the entire Discord arena, but also upholding our standards that we have and making sure that they are kind of backing up the way we want the community to feel. I think I've only had to ban like one actual person that wasn't a robot. And that's a big deal to me. I want to try really hard to make sure that we don't have to ever ban anybody. If situations occur, we want to talk to people, and some of you have even had conversations with me where I've said, hey, like we're trying to make sure that everybody feels welcome here. What you said or what happened may not have been what you intended, but this is maybe how it was taken. Can we try and just make this more positive for everyone? And so as we do that, that's a standard we're trying to make sure that is instilled in any moderator that we bring on. And so as we get those folks in place, we'll let you guys know, and we'll be sharing that kind of in a big reveal. All of the moderators will also be taking on a character, so we'll have like certain character cards that they want to choose, and then they'll come in very similar to the way Bella. Everybody loves Bella, but similar to the way Bella runs, her role here in Discord. One other question that came in was the physical box cards with, are they going to have styles like the digital cards? So are we going to see a physical printed blood foil? And it's kind of interesting. We've talked to retailers and several other, collectors and types of people that want to play tabletop games and game reviewers, and pretty universally, people have, in the tabletop space, are not necessarily interested in collecting a new card game. They wanna buy a box that's like a sealed, enjoyable game that they can sit down and play with their friends or their family. And so, at first, at least, we probably won't be pushing for things like a printed blood foil. But if the demand is there, we may find ways to support that. It isn't impossible that we could come up with a design that kind of, though it isn't animated, obviously has some blood foil design styles and aesthetics to it. So we may get there, but I think at first launch, probably not. That probably won't be on the default Kickstarter. We're going to be mostly worried about just trying to get physical copies into the hands of the people that want to play. Let's see. Coleman, I think there were quite a few questions that came in around the Allies of Warsaken. And I think we can maybe just cut through a couple of those really quick, if that's good for you.
Great.
So one question that came up was, will we add more allies in the future?
Yeah, the answer is possibly. We have a plan to divide up the kind of our process and our modifications into seasons of war. And so each season we will pretty much keep the tokenomics the same and what you earn for each card the same. And then as we go through each season, just to make sure everything stays healthy, make sure the token retains value, that doesn't get overwhelmed, either too overvalued or undervalued, we're going to make some tweaks, and it'll be about 3 months. And at the same time, we're also going to give our fans a chance to look at our allies and do some shifting there too. And so we've talked about doing another tournament about every 3 months with each season. We have a lot of details to work out there, but basically it would work out where if someone wins again and they're already an ally, they'll be promoted to like a rank 2 ally, and they'll have an even bigger pool. If they don't win, then they'll be demoted to a lower level, but we're not going to cut anybody off after the first 3 months, because we do realize that it can wreak havoc with collections and values if it goes from overnight from stakeable to not stakeable. So we do want to work with everybody, but we've been very clear about that, just so everybody goes in as they're making decisions with what the allies do and what collectors do, so that they know what's coming up.
Yeah, and I think this like stair stepping concept, right? Like every time you win a tournament as a collection, you go up a level. So if you've never won, then you are kind of at this first level, and that's pretty much what everybody's entering at with the Allies of Warsaken first pass. When we do our whatever season 2, is called, then winners who have won in the first set, the first tournament, if they win again, they'll go up another level. I think that's a really good way to kind of keep people, keep collections moving up that people really like. There will be a ceiling, like there's not going to be an infinite set of stairs there, but when they hit the roof of that, they'll be getting the maximum benefit that we can offer the people who have those collections. And then if those collections start to fall off or become less popular among our audience, then they'll slowly make their way down, which I think will help everybody here just make decisions about how they hold those collections or not, as they think about their relationship to Warsaken. So along those same lines, Coleman, maybe you could talk a little bit about how. So the question that was asked was really like, who chooses how these NFTs are stakeable? Like, what is it? Warsaken? Is it, the collections that we've engaged, and exactly how does that all work?
I was just working on this earlier today. I'm writing up a letter for the allies that kind of explains everything that we know so far and how it's going to work. But it will be mostly up to each collection, and we will give them tiers, and they will put each of their assets into a number of tiers, and then that'll determine. So some of the very common or promo items may not be stakeable at all. Obviously, the super rare mythics will be worth more. Seems like a lot of collections are talking about things that are blended. So anyone in here who's familiar with blending, where you take certain NFTs, combine them, and make a new NFT. It's kind of like our upgrade system, very similar actually. Those cards seem to be very popular with the collections because it shows engagement by the community in the collections, because you got to obtain the right NFTs enabled in order to get the upgrades done or the blending done. You can reach out to the individual collections in their Discord and their Telegram or whatever they have and get a feel for what they're feeling. We don't have any specific numbers yet, and it will all come from a pool. And so if it's a large collection, then you'll get less XP for each NFT you have staked. If it's a smaller collection with fewer assets out there on the market, it'll be a bigger stake. Yeah, I think that pretty much answers that.
Yeah, and I think that actually answers the next question too, which was kind of asking about the pools. How do the pools work? But so I think the best part about this is like we're working with the collections directly to figure out what would make most sense for their collection. How do they want to spend sort of the value that we're going to give to you around their specific collection? And we're going to be obviously open to any suggestions if there's some thoughts that our community has. We'd love to hear that stuff about those specific collections after we've released that information, so that everybody understands where they're at right now, and we would make any adjustments that need to be made in the next season. So there's opportunity, I think, for adjustments and making sure that we're again kind of keeping things stable around the way we're awarding XP and how that translates into loot, but also trying to make sure that collections who are have won in this Allies of Warsaken are really getting the bang for their buck.
Yeah, and we've narrowed down the ally shilling channel so that only allies can post in there. It used to be kind of a free for all, and I was going in a couple times a day and deleting a bunch of stuff just from random people. But now only allies can go in there. So if you want to get some official information from our allies, see what's going on with their launches, invites to their Discord, things like that, it's pretty safe now to go in there and get some high quality information. Cool.
Someone asked, like, if their first wave, because we've got a lot of first waivers in here tonight with us actually, but if their first wave, when the game is launched, do they have to start from rank 0? And so I wanted to just clarify that the ranking system and the XP that is inside Discord is disconnected and not related to the actual gameplay. Your rank is coming from the collection you have and the games that you win. So that's how you get your XP, and then your XP is going to set you at a rank, and then your rank allots you a certain amount of loot daily that you can claim. The things that are big benefits in the Discord, and honestly most of the first waivers probably already know this, we want to reward really good engagement, and our first waivers are some of our best engagers in the community. And so we've been they've been able to receive quite a few benefits from being in the first wave group. They do receive some extra giveaways. We will be doing more in terms of giving away first wave cards to those folks, and so there's lots of opportunities for us to give loot, wax, XP within the Discord channel, as well as rewarding with actual assets, NFT assets that people can get or claim. So there's lots and lots of stuff that I think first waivers are getting benefits of, and so I would encourage. There are some open slots for first waivers as people have kind of migrated out, or it was uncovered that somebody who got in early was actually a bot. We have like a handful, and I mean really just a very small handful of first waiver positions, and first wave A and first wave B. And so as we see good engagement in the community and people reaching out, trying to help others, we will take those opportunities to up level people in the community to gain that first wave status, which will grant you access to some of the first wave channel that we have in the Discord, and enable everybody that's in there to reap some of the benefits of that extra reward. And I want to just call out though that's not going to take away from everything that we've been doing. We're still going to be dropping NFTs to everybody. We're still going to be dropping loot to everybody, wax to everybody, and eventually we'll be able to drop loot as soon as TipCC has engaged with us on our token. But the reality is, we love our community. We love the engagement we're getting. We love how you guys are helping each other. The questions that are getting answered by other members, the support that is here, and the camaraderie that I see every day is it's amazing and impressive and humbling. And we want to just continue to help, that grow. So if we see good support, we're going to try and reward it as best we can every single time.
Speaking of that, Brandon, there's someone I've been talking to and watching. Kakoi, who's here in the room with us, is ranked number 12 overall in our Discord as far as engagement. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do a field promotion right now while everyone's listening, and take him from first wave B up to first wave A, which is obviously much more rare than going to first wave. So congratulations, Kakoi. Appreciate you. Yeah, been super active and definitely deserve it. I think you're gonna pass me soon on the rank. I think I'm number 6 last time I checked. So appreciate awesome. You and congratulations.
Congrats.
The awesome benefits of first wave A's, for those that don't know, is that especially with the first wave cards that we hand out to that group, they will get twice as many of those kinds of things delivered out to them. So there is some major benefits to being there, and that is a group of 500 or less individuals. Some of the earliest OGs that get in. So it's really, really cool to see that promotion. So congrats. There was kind of a nice question I wanted to ask. I think everybody on our team is busy. We are definitely engaged in a lot of activities trying to get this off the ground and have a successful launch for Warsaken on the Wax platform. But somebody was nice and asked, "Hey, is everybody doing great? Like, how are the generals? Are we doing okay? Are our families okay? Are we staying safe? We've got a lot of, crazy stuff going on in the world right now with COVID and, all the challenges that are happening. How are we all doing?"
I'm doing good. I can always use a little bit more sleep, but, I'll sleep when I die. But other than that, pretty good. My family's doing good. So I'm happy about that. But, I think part of the reason I enjoy jumping on Discord so much, as we talked about, is just I enjoy chatting with all you. You guys make me laugh like crazy. We had a music party a couple days ago where people were in cranking music, and it just made my day so fun. So I love some of the out of the box thinking and some of the out of the box jokes that people make in here. And so even when we're stressed out, I think you guys make it better for all of us.
Yeah, that's a super touching question. I've seen a lot of people. I've been in Wax for almost a year now, and people are like, when lunch, when game, when, and just kind of just super pushy and forceful. But our community is always like, make sure you're getting plenty of rest. Hey, good morning. How did you sleep? We're so, just super supportive, and just that reaching out and that support means a lot. So I'm doing really good. Working harder, busier than I've ever been. I've always had, multiple jobs, having side jobs and side businesses on the side my whole life, and just super busy right now, but just feeling tons of support from the community, which helps and goes a long way. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and I would second all of what's been said. A lot of us in the partnership do have pretty good sized families, and we have a lot of family related activities, and I've just seen a massive amount of support from my own family to try and bring this thing to life. My kids know the story about my dad, and they know the story about how he's immortalized in the game. And I think they're being super supportive to trying to help make this become real, not just for me, but because they want to see grandpa in the game. They want to see this thing be something that he would be really proud of. But like, we all are trying to work really hard and make sure that we're staying healthy and getting as much work done as possible to try and get this whole thing launched by December 15th. Okay, well, I think that's most of the stuff. We had some other questions that came in that were kind of not super obviously clear to me exactly what the intent of the question was. So maybe we'll just see if we can switch now to talk to some folks in the audience. So if you want to raise your hand, maybe Coleman, you can pick somebody and let them ask their question.
Excellent.
Hey, while he's doing that, Brandon, I remember a question you brought up to me earlier today when we were talking about them, and someone had asked if any of our cards were based on real people.
Oh yeah, that was one of the and I'll be honest, we've had a lot of questions, so I'm hoping I didn't miss any. I mean, obviously, the Commander Wilfred Lewis is my dad. Like that's 100% my dad. That's the artist painted his face from a photo of my father with consent from my my own mother and myself, and we're excited for him to be in the game. And that's the only character that's based on a real world person. A lot of the other characters are imagined through a series of thought processes about like persona types and things that would be cool in the game. What would how do these characters intermingle and what do they do? And we've got a lot of characters we've been holding back that we haven't talked about that are all coming for season 2, or sorry, set 2 and set 3. But in general, there aren't any like real world people in the game other than just our, like my dad. But I think there is a possibility that we could, bring people from the real world in, whether that's like someone like one of you, potentially we could do some cool giveaway opportunity where you get an opportunity to be a part of the game. We've talked about that, and I think that's the kind of stuff that could be really interesting. And maybe if somebody really wanted to reach out to us that was like in particular somebody famous or something that wanted to get in as we grow, we may find some particularly celebrity type players of our game. That's actually pretty common in some of the other big trading card games. So getting in could be something that they might be interested in, and we'd be open to those conversations. But yeah, that's kind of the state right now. Do we want to have a question from the audience?
I don't see anybody raising their hand. I hope I'm not missing anybody. I do see a couple of our allies are here. Rob's from Star Cards and Bantano from Crypto Monkeys are here, so shout out to them. Sorry if I'm missing any of the other allies, but I don't think anybody else is in here. I will share a quick anecdote. Those two collections, Star Cards and Crypto Monkeys, had completely different paths in the Allies of Warsaken tournament. Bantano came out of the gates just firing. One of our very earliest supporters brought a ton of really excited people into the Discord and was just always at the top of the leaderboard. Just we really appreciate them and everything they did to help us get rolling and off the ground. Whereas Star Cards, with like 10 hours left in the first round, was not in the top 8. They were not going to be moving on. And I was reaching out to some people, just, hey, do you have any questions? Hey, is there anything we can do? We want to support. And Rob's was like, yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm excited about this. I got an ID, jumped in our Discord. He started doing some giveaways. Second round, he came out just firing and just strong. Third round, very strong and just pushed and got his community engaged, got engaged with our community, and ended up doing awesome. But was just hours away from not making it out of the first round. So a lot of fun to see that. It was stressful for me. I know it was stressful for a lot of people, but it was really cool to see them step up and support us, get some support back from them. And we're looking forward to doing more with them as time passes. I'm not seeing any hands go up. I don't know if anybody is putting them up and we're just not seeing it.
Yeah, maybe there's a technical issue. I did get a message from someone that was asking a little bit about whitelisting and captchas and just making sure that we have like a closed sale. So one of the things I will say about that just off the top is we are trying to get the full payment system and the first wave cards available to go through that payment system and the entire purchase experience live before we actually launch our product, so that we can have a really great way to test it. And I think what we're going to see is if there's any adjustments we need to make there, through that process. I don't anticipate that being the case. I think that we've got a pretty solid structure right now, and I think we don't need to go to the step of a whitelist or a closed sale. It's going to be, at least for sure, a portion of the cards will be credit card based, and that will make it so that folks are able to quickly jump into the wax space without having to get buy wax to make the purchase. So yeah, that's kind of the current state. I don't know, Coleman, do you have anything you want to add to that?
We've said all along there won't be a whitelist for the first pack sale, and depending on that, we may need to institute one for the monthly sales. We'll approach that there. But yeah, other than that, just what Brandon said. Currently, we've disabled the request to speaks, so people are not allowed to raise their hands, which we can address for the next AMA. So thanks to those who messaged and let us know. We will work on that and get it changed.
Sorry about that. There was some, I think we may have made an adjustment and not realized that we had done that. Obviously, the Discord space is, there's a lot of permission options, so apologize for that.
Okay. I just changed it, and anyone can now raise their hand and ask something. If it's working.
Fingers crossed. Did you do it? Did you have to do it by roles?
I just did it in the corner from everyone. So
okay.
There it is. We've got 2 people. All right, I'm going to start with I'm That Cat Dog. Invite to speak. You should be on.
There you go.
Okay, just want to say how's everybody doing? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is.
Morning.
Everybody. Question. I seen a couple days ago you said there'd be rewards for wave A's or the green title. I believe that's wave A. As far as rewards, do you mean airdrop NFTs to different accounts, or just their own separate chat, or how would you go about that? Or what did you mean by that?
Yeah. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but let me touch on that really quickly. So the first wave people who have the first wave role, either A or B, do have a channel that is dedicated specifically to first waivers. In that channel, we will drop and have dropped redemption codes. We've done giveaways. We will do wax drops, and there is more for them. But in addition, there will be specifically some benefits that they're going to get that are around the first wave card specifically. Where everyone that's a first waiver will get at least one first wave card. Everyone who's a first wave A will get 2. So first wave Bs will get 1, while first wave As get 2. And that's definitely going to happen. We may have additional rewards that we aren't prepared to share right now, but they do get additional rewards right now.
Okay, I'm sorry if you did touch on that. Like I said, I don't know if you got my message earlier in the chat that I got back to work, so I ain't really been active in there too much, but yeah, appreciate you touching on that for me.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, you guys enjoy your day.
Appreciate it. We had another request that had come in. I don't know if there was Can't remember who it was. It looks like they put their hand down.
Yeah, it was Caught TV. Don't know if it was the same question or if they had to run, but do have a few minutes for a couple other questions. If you want to raise your hand, it's that button down at the bottom center of the screen that says raise hand or request to talk or something
Looks
like that.
like a hand with a little set of question lines next to it or something.
All right, we've got I'm That Cat Dog again. Back to the stage. You're all set. If you're there, jump in and ask your question.
We can't hear you if you're asking, so maybe check your mic. Okay, maybe he just accidentally joined again. Anybody else? Or here, let me invite him to speak one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. I can.
Okay, well, it's my fault. Since nobody was talking, I just wanted to tell you guys all at once instead of individually message each of you. I didn't mean to spam that to you guys that it was disabled, but I didn't know no other way to get it to you before you shut it down.
Yeah, no problem.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. We do have a couple more minutes for another question if there's anything else.
And no one's asking when we're launching because it's December 15th and everybody knows now. So that's good. I don't think I can say that too many times.
Yeah, we were really hoping to be able to announce that earlier. And I know everybody's been kind of like, why aren't you guys telling us your launch date? And just to clarify, we've been working on making sure that we have specific commitments from those we want to advertise with. So that and we have a lot of places we want to advertise, so we're trying to make sure that we have a date that we can ensure that our ads are seen by everybody on the same day, and that's just been a challenge to get to, but we're happy that we've kind of locked in on that, and we're excited about being able to share that with everybody.
Looks like Larry has a question.
All right, come on up, Larry. Invite sent. I think you're gonna have to click on come to stage or move to presenter or something like that.
Yeah, I think you have to hit move to the stage.
It's been super promising as we've reached out. While Larry's coming up, I'll add on to what you just said. Reaching out to the big names in the space, some of the really big companies in wax have been super welcoming, and we've made tons of friends and have a lot of plans on the back burners that are coming forward soon. All right, Larry, you're up.
Larry, feel free to ask your question. We cannot hear you. I don't know if you're muted, or maybe check your mic. Still, hello? There you go.
Oh, there we go. I heard you.
Yes. I have a question about your game launch. Before your game launch, will there be some testing, some closed invite to test how game works or something like this?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. So we had talked about this originally as backstage passes. So some people have asked about Tabletopia. We had some of that up on Tabletopia, the game up on Tabletopia for people to try out. But it's very complicated interface, Tabletopia is. And so we have talked about doing these backstage passes where we actually reserve like 90 minutes with you. We sit down and we show you what the game play is like. We actually play a game, and then we hear you talk about how you perceive the game. Like, do you like it? Is there some stuff that you think is interesting about the way it works? Anything that you might think would be worth changing? There are some formalities we have to go through to get you into that, so that we can actually have some of those more open conversations with you. But We've got a couple of people that we've talked to about doing that, and we will do that, but we haven't done that yet. That is something that we'll be lining up, in the coming weeks. I think everything has kind of shifted a little bit as we've had, trying to get these promo cards out for everybody and making sure that they could get them, and that we had a secure system to distribute them. Kind of made some changes in the schedule, so we've been focused on that instead of the backstage and some of those other opportunities, but we'll come back around to that. So if you want your self to be considered for those, DM either myself or Coleman, and we'll try and get you scheduled in the coming weeks as we get closer to launch. We definitely want people to see and play the game. The problem that we have is Tabletopia is kind of terrible. So we want to make sure that you're enjoying the game and that you understand how to play it, and that you're not just left kind of on your own with this tabletop simulator that you've never used before. Because learning a game is fun and exciting. Learning Tabletopia is also challenging. And when you're trying to do those at the same time, it can kind of make it feel really weird. So that's part of the reason that we haven't gotten there. But anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Larry.
Yeah, I think so. Can I ask another one?
Sure, shoot. Yeah. Why not?
I have a question about ally system. Are your allies, are they permanent? They are for life for the rest of the game, or they will change, or they will downvote it, or somehow? How will the ally system work in the future?
Yeah.
So quick answer to that. Basically, every 3 months, we're going to give our fans a chance to give input. We may do another tournament just like we did. And then it'll be stair steps where they can get a larger pool or slightly smaller pool, but it'll be stair steps. It won't be all or nothing, but they will change over time. And we talked about that about halfway in. So if you have a chance to go and listen to the replay, you'll get a fuller answer about that.
Got it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Answering my questions. Yeah.
Anyone else? I think we could squeeze one more in if somebody's got at least just one more question.
It's great to see all the familiar names. A lot of people that have been super active, super helpful. Some names I don't recognize, which is great. We've got new people coming in every day. I think we're knocking on the door of 10,000. We're 151 away, and so we're right there.
Yeah, I think we've got a big celebration excited, to share with everybody when we hit that number, and I think it's going to be a big milestone. It's kind of a marker for a good project. I think that we've got so much interest and that people are joining our Discord. We're obviously trying to kind of grow our social media presence, and if you haven't already followed us and liked us and all of the things on all of the other socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and even YouTube, subscribe. If you haven't done that already, after the AMA, take a minute to go do that, because we are going to be giving away 4 exclusive cards for each of those platforms that are going to be designed to kind of match those platforms. We've already shared those in the forum, but we can share those again. But there's 200 mints of each, and we're going to drop them all when we finally hit our bounties of 3,000 followers on Facebook, 3,000 followers on Instagram, 1,500 subscribers on YouTube, and 3,000 followers on Twitter. And when we hit those numbers, and I think we'll be dropping those super cool exclusives for everybody to go claim. And we have kind of a secret that we'd like to share with everybody when that happens. So there's at least a couple of other things we want to be able to give out, and so we'll be able to bonus everybody with some good drops at the same time. So we're trying to obviously grow our Discord space and grow the community, and we're super happy with all the new faces that we're seeing. Stick around, you're going to love it here. This is a great community. Everybody here is very, very welcoming. We as a group, all of us in this room right now, and all the people who are with us, have been working really hard to make this place welcoming, fun, safe for everybody to feel that they can be themselves and enjoy the potential of this game and get behind the project. So we're very excited and humbled by all of the support that we're seeing throughout the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first thing I do when I wake up is hop on Discord and see how everybody's doing.
Yeah, huge thanks. Exactly what they said. I really appreciate each and every one of you being here and all the work you're doing to help us out.
Larry had a final question he threw in the general chat on our way out. He wanted to know if any of us knew the Muffin Man. I've not met him yet, but I'm kind of hungry, so I would take a muffin about now. But, I can't speak for my partners here if they know the Muffin Man, Larry. It's a good question.
I started with pizza, I knew with muffins.
Yeah, there was somebody asked us, are we Marvel or DC? Where do we fit? Are we Marvel fanboys or DC fanboys? And and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I want to answer that. It sounds like it's gonna blow up in my face if I pick a side and it's the wrong one. But I'm gonna tell everybody, I really respect the character of Iron Man. I love the way Robert Downey Jr. has played that character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I really love the Iron Man character as this person who just puts their mind to a problem and solves it. And everything else is out of the way. He just focuses on the problem and solves it. And I love how that character has been developed to be so focused on making things better everywhere he goes, and obviously fighting the forces of evil. But I think that squarely puts me as a Marvel guy. But I also love Batman for a lot of the same reasons, even though Batman is a lot more dark.
I'm an X-Men guy. I'll just say that X-Men has always been my favorite.
Yep, that's a good one.
Really the only comic book that I read consistently, and I still have a stack of them somewhere in one of my closets. And they did a really good job with the movies early on. They kind of got a little bit different, for kind of different audiences, liked different movies as they came down to the end, the most recent ones. That's always been my favorite franchise.
I'm just a Deadpool guy. He doesn't take anything too seriously, and he's hilarious.
Man, you're playing into Warsaken Monkey's hands right now.
He's not even. I don't think he's on here at the moment. No, that's why it was safe to say it. I didn't, but I don't think those movies make me hilariously laugh, so it's a good time.
Yeah, look out in the Discord for Warsaken Monkey. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah. He fits it to the T. No one tell him I said I like that movie.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you taking the time. We love talking to you and being able to answer any questions you have. So feel free. We'll do more of these. So feel free to submit more questions to the same form, and we'll keep collecting them and we'll keep trying to answer them.
Thanks all.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great day or night or wherever you're at on your 27th.
Yes.
Okay, we do have. I know we just said goodbye, and anybody can feel free to leave. There is one more question that just came in, and I don't want to completely walk away. So if everybody's willing to stay for just a couple more minutes, we've got one more person I'll invite to speak really quick. See if they can come to the stage. Yep. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Can we answer a question for you?
Now there you go. You were muted for a second.
I was really amazed of this project.
Thank you.
Hope that it will succeed.
We hope so too, and we appreciate the sentiment. we're excited for the future for sure.
Yes, I'm really excited too.
We've got a lot of really great cards. I hope you've had a chance to capture some on the on the drops we've been doing. We are super happy to have literally every single one of you here. So we thanks so much for just being here and being a part of the community.
Hey, question just came in the general chat that I think people will care about. They were asking Bella, when we do the social media drops for YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Will they be done separately? Will they be done at the same time? What about the 3-hour cooldown?
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop each one on the social media platform that those cards are for. We'll do them in sequence, and we'll make sure that the cooldown is good so that everybody has a chance to get them. But there are only 200 per. And then after we drop them in that space, so let's say, for example, the Facebook one, we'll drop the code in Facebook, and then we'll come over to Discord and drop it in general chat as well, so that you have the opportunity of going both places. But we will make sure that the cooldown is spaced out so everybody has a shot at those 200. But there are only 200 of each, and so they're going to go really quickly. They'll definitely go quicker than the the standard promo cards. They each have a unique design for each of the different social media platforms that are out there, and they're pretty unique. So we won't be minting them for any other set or anything like that. We won't do them again, I guess is my point. So those 200 will be the only 200 for that, and they obviously will work in the game the same way. And I'm super excited for people to get their hands on those. I think they'll be cool collector's items, but also really good cards.
Awesome. I'm gonna let Bruce Knox up to the stage. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Brandon, check your DMs real quick because I sent you a private question. So while Bruce Knox is coming up and getting unmuted, go ahead, Bruce. What's your question?
How's it going? I just want to know about the redeem cards. I know how to get them. Can you give us a quick rundown of what they do and the differences between them all?
Yeah, so each day we've been dropping a minimum of 2, and we'll drop them at the same time. And the 2 codes, one code is for a promo NFT, and the other is for the black camo NFT, which is a heroic level, minted to 50. And so you take one of those codes, enter it at warsaken.cards/redeem, and then there's a random number generator that determines whether or not you win if you enter a correct code. And so it flips a coin, tosses the dice, whatever, and you're either lucky or unlucky. And then whether you're lucky or unlucky, you have to wait 3 hours is our current window before you can try again. If you try a code that's already been entered, let's say you try the black camo code and they're all gone, then you'll get a message that says all of the NFTs for this code have been redeemed. You can immediately try the other code. And so if it's gone and it's a valid code, then you can try it. If you entered a straight up wrong code that's just not a code that's ever been valid for us or isn't recently valid, then you'll be locked out for 3 hours as well.
And be cautious you enter them incorrectly. If you hit the wrong key, you still have a 3-hour cooldown.
Oh, okay.
We've gone around and around with this, trying to make sure that as many NFTs as possible end up in the hands of the Legion, the people who are true fans. And so that's why we've been making changes, trying out some different things. Brandon has developed that really ingenious video method to keep bots, because there's no way a bot can read that. And so it takes a human to watch it. And we know it's tricky sometimes, and you got to watch it a couple times. But it's all just to make sure that as many NFTs as possible end up in the hands of our Legion.
Yeah, man. I love the way you've done that. It's good setup. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Hey, real quickly, Brandon, 161. I don't know if you're in here, if you were just on the general chat, but zeros and O's, regardless of which one you type, will be registered as a 0. Yeah. There are no O's in the codes. They're all zeros.
Yeah, they're all zeros. But if you don't recognize that, or you get mixed up at the moment and you type a 0 or an O, in either case, our interface will actually resolve it to a 0 so that it gets properly sent. So actually, one of the best parts about this is we've done that with several characters that are common confusing characters. So you won't find some of them. There maybe are people who would argue we should have gone a little more strict with that, but there are a lot of characters that are just not even present, so that it's just easier to simply type in what you see, and then it resolves to the right code. So on that note, and I don't know do we have another question? It seems like we've got another question. Couple.
We have Danielle. Should we let her?
Yeah. Let's let everybody ask their questions. Absolutely.
Okay. Danielle, you are up. Welcome.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, we can.
Okay, great. My output is a little bit low. And there was a question from in the first wave chat, and it was, how will the first wave cards be distributed to the first wave A and first wave B troops?
Yeah, so good question. We haven't got the exact answer to that right now. That's part of the thing that I think we're going to do is make sure that they're safely transferred to them. It's not related to the claim codes per se, and that it's they can easily get. It's also possible to register so that we have your info. But we will try really hard to make sure that you've got those, and there won't be the ability to get more than one unless you're somebody that's on first wave B. So more details to come, I guess, is the short answer for that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
A lot of
Awesome.
questions
Thanks
about
for the question.
codes. Yeah, I love it. I'm that cat dog has also got another question. Should we let him come up? I'm going to ask him up to the stage. You're on.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I guess a couple questions. Just the first one, will there be any more advancements after first wave A, first wave B, and two, since knowing that how strong the community is, and just to do more together. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever thought about doing like marbles or something like that for the community or something?
So I think I'm not exactly sure what that last part of the question was, but I can answer a little bit about the first part. So we have a lot of different roles, and obviously, as you interact, you'll get rewarded for each message you send a certain amount of XP. You can only get a certain amount of XP for every minute, and then those roles give you, or those levels give you access to new roles. As the community grows and we start seeing more and more people hitting different roles and different levels, because right now if you're not in first wave or B, and you haven't had some very special promotions such as Stoned Rabbit, who has been promoted basically all the way to the top. If there aren't one of those cases, you're almost all of you are in the first rank or the second rank. So the reality is until those ranks kind of fill up, we have a lot of them, we won't probably try and break people apart or separate out. There are also going to be impacts to the way that, like, as we onboard, tabletop players into Discord or subscription players into Discord, we may want to start carving out NFT groups versus, the tabletop groups, so that the conversations can be more, honed in on those groups. And then also, we will have some opportunity for people to be more involved in, I think there will be more involvement around like gameplay related conversations. So I know that answers only part of it. Maybe Coleman, I don't know if you caught the rest of that last question, or if I'm that cat dog, if you want to answer more, or ask again.
Oh, yeah, I did catch it. Let me make sure I'm not muted. As we get the moderators going, we do have some ideas for them to create engagement on the Discord. We haven't specifically talked about doing anything off of Discord like marbles or any sort of races or anything, but we can definitely look into that. Our focus, obviously, is the core team is getting the game developed and launched, getting the promotions done, the advertising, all that. But we can look into that and see if it's an option down the road to get the community together in a different venue.
Yeah, I didn't know. It was just a suggestion, and not to throw Larry under the bus, but that was me with the cookie question or the do you know the gingerbread question. I ain't want to get him cooked or nothing, but yeah, that was me. And yeah, just was wondering that, if you thought about anything else as far as like just bringing the community together with the marbles, and if you did, I don't really know too much about streaming, but I could definitely help with get putting prizes and stuff together and donate towards the community too.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks for the offer. Yeah, we will discuss that.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I have to say one more thing. I think we should probably wrap things up, but there is Coleman's pushing me. He's like, do we have some codes for these people, these awesome people here? Can we give them something?
It's 2 a.m. where I'm at, so I'm feeling super like, let's throw everyone a bone who stuck around this long, because there's 85 people listening right now.
I will tell you right now, I love the idea of dropping a code, but I also want to make sure that we have the things in the right places for everybody to get. So here's something I can offer that is something we were going to hold for later. So that secret I was talking about for when we hit our social media bonus, I think I'm gonna let that slip right now.
Oh.
So everybody, you've heard, you guys know that we have an album out, the soundtrack of Warsaken. There's a claim code that's been in those songs. that no one has found, but it's there. So I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but if you want to go and get your shot at an unclaimed mystery NFT that is unique and currently unclaimed, unminted, there are 200 copies of an NFT that if you are able to find the claim code and correctly enter it, and I am sorry, the cooldown is still going to be in place and all of the things associated. So if you enter it wrong, that'll hit you. But I'm gonna. This is a good opportunity as a community if you want to try and take a stab at finding that and then working it through as a group, because I think it's a pretty cool way that we've included that. So it's been in there since the beginning, and even before we had the claim system, available for everybody to use, it's been there. So it's in one of the tracks. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I am going to tell you that it's in one of the songs. So go listen, take a listen. You can even pop into, I believe, the lobby and listen to some of the music that's playing in there if you want. But
bot was broken earlier in the lobby. I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot it, but Bella Ivanova did post the link to SoundCloud in the chat, and I pinned it so you can find it in the general chat.
Yep.
And I think that's a great one to end on.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Yep. Happy hunting. Thanks everybody for coming.
Good luck, all.
Appreciate it.
Good luck, everybody.
Good night, Legion. Talk to you later.